can rewire your brain because life's good. And you know, our attitude is in our hands. No one else's hands. It's in our hands. And if everyone thinks you're an idiot, they're wrong. I've got a Father in heaven who loves me, who understands me. And there's a beautiful section in a little book called Steps to Christ, and I see it up the back. It says, take your wants, your cares, your sorrows, your joys, your fears to God. You cannot burden him and you cannot weary him. He who numbers the hairs of your head is not indifferent as to the needs of his children. The Lord is very pitiful and of a tender mercy. He heals the brokenhearted. He binds up their wounds. Take to him everything that perplexes the mind. Nothing is too great for him to bear, for he holds up worlds. He rules over the affairs of the universe. No chapter in our experience is too dark he cannot read. No perplexity too difficult that he cannot unravel. No calamity harass the soul. No anxiety challenge us, no joy cheer, no sincere prayer escape the lips of which our Heavenly Father is unmindful or takes no immediate notice. For he heals the brokenhearted and he binds up their wounds. The relation that exists between God and the soul is as clear and succinct as if there was not another soul on the planet to share his watch care, not another soul for whom he gave his beloved Son to die. Isn't that beautiful? That's page 100 of that little book, Steps to Christ. That's where you put your mind. Whenever I see something beautiful, I memorize it. And it's all right, that took me about 6 months. But just like the piano players, they can just get on that piano and play. And that's why I can just stay that and stay it, because I've gone over it and over it and over it. But to store the mind with that is healing. Dr. Neil Nedley says, genetics cannot cause depression. Isn't that good news? Even if both your parents committed suicide, you need never go there. You see, genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. Genetics cannot cause depression. And tragedy, lifestyle tragedy cannot cause depression because every heart has its sorrow. Every heart has suffered. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it. Dr. Neil Nedley says, lifestyle tragedy cannot cause depression. Genetics cannot cause depression, but on one or two of those you throw in this list. You lack this list. You excess in this. You poison with this, and the scales are tipped. The scales are tipped. The good news is we have no say over tragedy in our life. We have no say over genetics, but we have total say over what we do. So if someone comes to me wanting help with depression, do you know what the first thing I do is get them to drink more water. Get them to go to bed early. Get them to start implementing an exercise program. Go on a plant-based diet and make your food taste wonderful with good healthy fats and the good salts. That's where you start. And when the frontal lobe starts to work well, because all of this is in place, we can start to have a little look at how this all happened. That's why we all should be private investigators, investigating why these things are so. Never do I suggest anyone stop their medication. There are some medications you can stop immediately. They're your blood thinners, and they're your statin drugs. They can be stopped straight away. But antidepressants and medication for the mind, that has to be eased off. And it eases off once you implement this. You start to feel better and you start to ease off it. And I've seen many do that. Isn't that good news? So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, depression can be prevented. Alzheimer's can be prevented. Depression can be conquered. Alzheimer's can be conquered. Sometimes the Alzheimer's is so severe you may not get a total turnaround. But you know what? You do the best you can and you've got nothing to lose. Everyone's got nothing to lose by implementing these simple principles. In the little book, The Ministry of Healing, on page 44, it says this: "The only hope of better things is the education of people in the right principles. Let the physicians teach the people that restorative power lies not in drugs, but in nature. You see, disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that arise because of a violation of the basic laws of health. In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained, unhealthful conditions changed, wrong habits corrected, then nature is to be assisted in her efforts to expel impurities and re-establish right conditions back in the system. Pure air, sunlight, temperance, rest, exercise, proper diet, use of water, trust in divine power, these are the true remedies. Every person should have a knowledge of nature's remedial agencies and how to apply them. It is important both to understand the principles involved in the treatment of the sick and have a practical training to enable one rightly to use these principles. Nature's process of healing and upbuilding is gradual." Did everyone hear that? Nature's process of healing and upbuilding is gradual, and to the impatient it seems slow. The use of natural remedies requires an amount of care and effort that many are not prepared to give. The giving up of hurtful indulgences requires a sacrifice, but in the end it will be found that nature untrammeled does her work wisely and well. Those who persevere in obedience to her laws will reap the benefit in health of body and health of mind.